Mm,
Dustin's watching a football game.
no, not.
What is up, everybody? It's your boy Ray. Welcome to another fantastic episode of This Week in Reselling. And today we have I feel like it's a special episode. We have our friend Ray with 50 Shades of Ray. Um, I don't even know how I ended up coming across you, Ray. I think it was through maybe TikTok or Instagram.
It's TikTok. Yeah.
TikTok. Okay. I think so. But yeah, man. So Ray kind of specializes in vintage. So that's one of the reasons that we wanted to have him on, just to give us a little bit more knowledge of vintage clothing, maybe vintage toys, different things that he can shed some light on for that. But I'm also joined with my co-host, Dustin.
What's up? What's up?
Now, Dustin and I, we had the opportunity to go to the Titans game today, so it looks like, by the looks of it, Dustin, we will not be going to any more Titans games
Nope. No
in
more.
the future. So, because they lost to possibly the worst team in the league. So, but Ray, I really appreciate having you on. And for the people that they might not know you, could you give us a little bit of introduction on yourself? How you kind of got into selling, buying vintage clothing, all things vintage? Just give me your origin story, sir.
All right. So, long story short, I'd gotten injured, and so I was laid up for a while, about 6 months. I was on bed rest. So you know how it is. You got nothing to do. You got a computer. So here goes YouTube. We started down a rabbit hole, and we found vintage, and from there I just started learning about it. More like online selling, specifically, like, I forget the guy's name. There was a whole story about a guy who was selling shirts, and he's like, "Yeah, the highest shirt I've sold is like $17,000 for
Dang.
something." I don't even remember the shirt, but that was the aha moment. You know what I mean? Like, oh, what about these shirts? Like, I need to know more about this. Um, and just, I guess, my passion for already just fashion in general. I liked clothing very early on. I always was in the thrift store anyways, because I'm not from wealth, so I was balling on a budget through high school and wanted to have a Polo, Ralph Lauren, and the Tommy Hilfiger, so I'd go thrift the stuff. But yeah, probably 2.5 years ago was when I, first discovered vintage, and then a little later on discovered, Slobby Robbie's little Netflix series.
Yeah.
And then, you know,
Okay.
at that point, no idea what the terms like single stitch, like certain tags, Brockham and Giant, Liquid Blue. I had no clue what these things were, and I would start digging and digging. And so another person I came across on YouTube was Paul Cantu,
Yeah. The
which,
goat.
yeah, I can't get no response from the GOAT, but it is what it is. I'm just
Yeah.
a busy man. But yeah, I love watching his, to this day. I still watch his videos in a lot of ways. Slobby Robbie and Paul Cantu are the two main people that I contribute getting me into this. Even though that we don't know, I don't know him personally. And I keep saying we because I'm used to now talking about my business partner Ben Vintage on Instagram, Ben Vintage 86. um, but yeah, like, just watching YouTube really is how I got my start. And then like I said, I'd already been going thrifting for my own personal wardrobe, and it just kind of like shifted gears to now what is this vintage stuff? And here we are, 2.5, almost 3 years later. Um, and I'm, convention coming up. You know, I like doing the in person conventions. Just the in person interactions are so much better. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
For me, it's like one time, like one story in particular. Uh, it was just a simple Tweety cup, but this person broke down and was like just crying, like, "Oh my God, my grandma had this cup," like, and we lost her, to COVID and everything, and like they cleaned out her house, and the one thing that I wanted, I didn't care about nothing else but that cup, and the cup, I guess, had been gone or whatever, but that, it's just connecting people to that memory that they have of something, whether it be like shirts, maybe an uncle or a father had that shirt and they remember a specific memory, and and that for me is what drives my passion for vintage, is the connection that people have to these items, and even myself, I've come across stuff that I had when I was a kid, and it just like brings back so many memories playing with this, like for me, uh, this past year I found a wrestling ring, and it was just back from that era when I was in, elementary school, middle school, still kind of playing with wrestling action figures, and I was like, oh my God, I had that, and cool connection, you know what I mean?
I love it, man. I love it. And I think, a lot of the people that are on here, we're all resellers. This is a reselling related podcast. And one of the things that I know that I love and the people that I've talked to a lot is being that middleman for someone that may have, like you were saying, that particular item that, their aunt had, their grandma had, their uncle had, and like reconnecting those items to the people that actually like cherish those vintage things. Like that's so cool, you know?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I do it because I want to make a living,
Yeah.
but I try not to sell my pieces to people who don't care about them. Like you said, that like they have this connection with them or they appreciate it for what it is. Not a lot, because I'm sure just like I do. There's people that'll be like, man, ain't nobody gonna buy that for that price. What are you, crazy? But they just don't understand. It's not the, they're just ignorant of the fact that, yeah, somebody may pay my price for this shirt because, again, they have that connection with it. So,
Yeah.
and it took me,
Yeah.
this has taken me time. It's not like I just waltzed into the thrift store and this was sitting there. You know what I mean? Like
Exactly.
sometimes you get lucky like that, but this is like an original owner thing. So,
Yeah, that's great. That's awesome, man. And you said you do this full you've been doing this full time for about 2 years. Is that correct?
so not 2 years. A year ago, December, what is it, like December 20th or 21st, something. We'll just say New Year's is
Okay.
my 1 year of solid full time, like not having a job, not clocking in, nothing. So before this, I was a painter,
Uh-huh.
uh, and occasionally, like for friends or family or something, friends of family, um, I'll do a little project here and there. Because let's take this garage for instance. Let's just say 650 square feet, 2 coats of paint, easy to knock out by yourself. If you want to have a helper, you can have them. To take you and a helper 2 days max. You know, and that's $1,200. But
Easy.
yeah, but I mean, you supply paint and whatever, or you
Oh, okay, yeah.
have them supply it. But anyways, it
Well,
was
what made you finally transition from your painting job to wanting to do this full time?
um. So just
Was it like the COVID thing, or was it like finally you're like, you know what? I'm done. I'm done listening to the bosses. I'm done having to clock in, working for other people. I'm gonna do my own thing.
well, it was a combination of all of that. Um, with painting, if you want to make serious good money, then obviously the first thing to do is to own your own company, right?
Uh,
But that takes time and money and building up where you have to, like there's 2 sprayers sitting over here that, that's $2,500 in equipment sitting right there that hasn't done anything in a year. You know, so it's like, but your first job, you could pay for that machine, you know. But for me, like I wanted to be here, you know. I wanted to be getting interviewed and like teaching people about this and like building a community and, you know, like, I guess not to be braggadocious. I want to be a godfather of vintage too, you know, like Paul Cantu. But obviously that takes
Let's do
time.
it. Yeah, man.
You can't just like get into it and be
Yeah.
like, oh, it didn't happen. Like it's not gonna happen in 6 months. You're not gonna be the GOAT in 6 months. You know, like LeBron James has been in basketball for going on 20 plus years.
Well, I got my I'm not a big LeBron James fan like the other guy over here, so we'll leave that out.
We're just talking about. I'm just talking about current times.
Yeah, no, yeah, I understand. Yeah, for sure.
So Michael Jordan. We'll go with Michael Jordan. You know,
there you go.
Years of refinement and practice, and just, you know, the championships, lost championships, got all the way there and lost. You know what I mean? Michael Jordan don't lose well at all. You know, he is not he's not a very losing person.
Yeah.
So, you know, that takes, again, just years. Like wine too. It's with age comes greatness.
Yeah, it takes time to build something that's worth building for sure. Brick by brick, right, Dustin?
Brick by brick.
Brick by brick.
Yes,
not
sir.
to quote the late great Butch Jones. But Ray, real quick, for the people that want to get to know you a little better, then they could follow you. I know that we have your Instagram linked down in the description below, your TikTok, and then your venture with your business partner, which is called the Vintage Archaeologist. So if you guys want to check that out, all that information is down in the description below. But let's just say hi to some people in the chat, Ray. We have some good friends coming on today. We have a junkie with Bojo says, howdy, y'all. First time tuning in. Good to see you. We have one of our good friends of the show, Landshark Picker. He says, what's going on? And Kyle Grover says, Titans sucked bad with the rain. It was horrible. It was terrible. Sitting in the rain, anything having to do with the rain, it was terrible. So we have Shay, the MD Picker. Good to see you. And Junkin says, wow, Ray, that's very interesting. I sell antiques and vintage, but never the numbers like that. Yeah. And we have Rachel Strickland. She says she made it. Good to see you, Rachel. Christopher Esperanza, he says he might have a question here. And guys, if you have a question for Ray, 50 Shades of Ray, make sure you put them down in the chat so we can get those answered for sure. Because hey, that's one of the reasons I wanted to have you on here, dude, because I don't know anything about vintage. So for sure we'll learn today. He says, hey guys, how's it going? I talked to one of you a few months ago about buying a bunch of stuff for eBay. You wanted me to send you pics, but honestly, it's so much stuff. I really just need to come and look. Okay, well, let us know, dude. If you live close to Tennessee, Dustin and I will surely check that out for sure. But Ray, real quick, you talked just a little bit. You talked about some vintage tags. Like, could you give us just like a little like vintage tag 101 of like what that is? You know, like how do I look? I don't know anything about vintage tags. So for someone that's been, you know, dealing with vintage tags, like what's going on with that?
Okay, so let's see. Get a couple different tags going for you. You know how I had mentioned like liquid blue, and then this will also give you a chance to see different types and styles of shirts. So we'll start with the liquid blue, and this is a 1991 Grateful Dead t-shirt. So there's a couple different variations of the liquid blue tag, and I'll show you those as well. This is one of the examples. Throughout the 80s, liquid blue printed on Fruit of the Loom, and the all Anvils. But
So does Liquid Blue still make clothing, or is that like they quit
Oh, yeah.
making
Yeah.
t-shirts?
So Liquid Blue still definitely produce shirts to this day. And
So how do I know if a Liquid Blue shirt is vintage compared to one that's not vintage?
okay, so there's a couple different well vintage shirts in general, not just Liquid Blues. What
Okay.
you look for is copyright dating,
Okay.
which will be somewhere on the graphic. If you see the little font, that's typically what the copywriting will be. Not all vintage shirts actually have a date, so you know a lot of your Disney stuff that's vintage won't have a date, but like the earlier stuff will. Um, but then you'll have like your artist name. Uh, Again, single stitch. When you hear that term, single stitch, you're like, what is that? What is that?
Yeah.
Only one stitch versus this more modern comfort colors that has two stitches on the sleeve. Now this is still a vintage Joey Mars. Very awesome artist, very humble guy, man, like down to earth. But this is a 1996 Liquid Blue,
Uh-huh.
and I'll show you this tag, and I'll show you the Grateful Dead tag again. But this tag is different. Same color concept going on, but there's spelling here 100% cotton made in USA. And then it's also got the printing made in USA on the back. Whereas this tag just says, Liquid Blue. It doesn't have it up here. So the tags are somewhat different. And this tag is older, obviously. This is like a 95, 96 tag. This is a 1994 Joey
That
Mars.
one's dope.
Yeah, this one I actually bought from Joey Mars's personal collection. He signed it, put a little personal message.
And is
to
that like a band or artist or what is that? Joey Mart.
Joey Mars is an that has worked with the Grateful Dead, Aerosmith, and again Liquid Blue. He's designed a lot of T-shirts, a lot of posters, like just band art in general. This is 1994, and again the tag is different than that of a 96 and a 91. There's several different variations of even like the same tags. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like Anvil had several different tags. Brockham, which this T-shirt is licensed, or this graphic is licensed to Brockham, but Liquid Blue produced the shirt, so they had permission to use the graphic and printed it on their own tie-dye shirts. And you see this is very thrashed, as we call it. That's the terminology.
Okay.
For me personally, I love this. This shirt tells a story. It's got history behind it. You know what I mean? It's very, very possible that this shirt was worn in the presence of,
the Grateful Dead.
Yeah, Jerry Garcia himself before he died in '95. Because this is like 4 years before he died.
Now, did you find that shirt out in the wild, or did you trade for it, purchase it, or how'd you come about it?
I traded for this shirt at a local shop, and they deal more in toys. And I just have some X-Men toys that I traded, and so I ended up getting that shirt, and we traded on a bunch of other stuff too. But this is another
Allen and Hobbs. Let's go.
Yeah, another, you know what I mean? Classic vintage. Again, single stitch, and this is what is called dead stock, new with tags in W.
Wow.
So if you ever see that WT on a listing that's new with tags.
Mhm.
For those who don't know. And this is on a Power Pro Juanita. I call it Juanita. Some people call it Oneida. There you go. Nothing on the back. And then this one is called a Delta Pro.
Oh, that shirt's sick.
Yeah, this is 1993 X-Men.
That's so awesome.
Nice large print. Made in USA is also a pretty good indication that it's vintage.
Mhm.
A lot of your vintage single stitch stuff will be on Made in USA. Made in Hong Kong is also sometimes vintage. Like now, a lot of stuff is made in China, but back then, a lot of stuff was made in the United States or Hong Kong. But yeah, again, Delta. There's several variations of this tag.
That's a good one. Ray, where do you find the majority of your pieces?
So majority of them come from yard sales, flea markets, Goodwills, Salvation Armies, different different thrift stores, or let's see if I have one. I don't have one down here, but actually, hold on. Can I
Okay.
run
Yeah,
grab?
you're good. Of course, you go. But while Ray's looking for some more pizzas, we're gonna go ahead and say hi to some people in the chat. I saw that Luis, the Cali reseller, he's on here. He says hello, guys. Good to see you,
Luis.
Cali reseller. And guys, make sure if you're listening to the audio version of this podcast, make sure you leave a review and subscribe to the podcast, of course. And if you're listening to it on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and hit the bell notification so when we're live and dropping those helpful videos like we always do, right, Dustin?
Oh yeah, every
You
week.
can be notified for sure. So I think Ray's back, and he's what you got for us, Ray?
Okay, so another way is called off the back.
Okay.
You see somebody wearing a shirt, and it's just like, oh my! This one, I did a U-turn on my way to a Goodwill, and like at first I lost the dude, so I was like weaving back and forth between the street. I'm like, where did this guy go? Finally, he comes walking out of the little corner store. I'm like, yes. But hey, guy. That
Hey,
shirt.
guy. Dang.
Oh man,
So it's
that's sick.
oh, it is. But the unfortunate part is
It's
this.
thrashed a little, right?
No.
No.
This is a very unfortunate part of vintage because I paid $40 for this shirt off of someone's back. But it's called dry rot. It's where the paint and the black dye have had some kind of a chemical reaction, and it breaks down the fibers of the shirt.
Mm.
Yeah, so it's very brittle and it rips very easily. You see the holes.
Oh man.
How you test for dry rot is I'm trying to get this.
I'm afraid you're gonna tear it.
Oh yeah, it is. I mean, it is. These are all like dry rot spots. You know what I mean? But yeah, see how easy.
Oh man.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut the graphic out front and the back. I'll probably just sew that like to a sweatshirt or back of a jean jacket.
Okay.
Okay.
It's
So I've never heard of that, Ray. So shirts can get dry rotted,
yeah,
like shoes and anything else, and you
happens to black
Wear
shirts.
your shirts. Wear your
Only
shirts.
happens to black. Yeah, wash your shirts, not just because it does happen. People, somebody bought that shirt and they only wear it a couple times, but the body sweat gets on that and they put it up. It's like kind of grody.
Mm-hmm.
okay.
but
So it's like the oils in someone's body in the shirt. So it's
well,
like good to continuously wash them, right?
no, it's actually the dye. It's the acidity of the black dye. Because this was once a white T-shirt, and they just dyed it black.
Okay.
Gotcha.
And then after they dyed it, then they printed the graphic on it. So like same thing. This was once, and that's why shirts fade over time. You eventually, black shirt will get that like white fuzz about it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
That's just where the dye has washed out of the white cotton. Because a lot of your either 50-50 blend or 100% cotton. 50% cotton, 50% polyester. So, 100% cotton shirts. Don't quote me on it because I mean, it's been a while since I looked, but I think that the 100% cottons are more prone to dry rot than the 50-50 blends, but I could be mistaken.
And that's 50 polyester, 50% cotton. Is that
You're
the
looking,
blend? Is it
yeah,
50 poly and 50 cotton?
yeah.
Okay. Gotcha, man. Gotcha. Well, man, let's get moving and grooving here, and let's go and move on to our next segment on the show, which is a lot of people's favorite segment on the show, and that is overrated, underrated Ray. When we give you 5 different subjects, or excuse me, we give you 10 different subjects, and then you tell us in your own words if they're underrated or overrated, and give us a reason why. So,
Well,
you ready, my man?
all right, yeah.
All right. So before we do that, we do want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Poppin' Off Toys. I know that Christmas is around the corner. Black Friday is this week, guys.
Mhm.
So if you're not going, if you don't want to fight the crowds and having to, give old Sally the elbow to the face, a good way to get that Christmas shopping done and is going to poppinofftoys.com. They are a sponsor of the podcast. They sell everything Funko related. They got the new stuff. They got a 10-inch Michael Myers Funko Pop on there right now, ready to rock and roll. They have some mystery minis. The Funko sodas are for sale. If you want to get that new Stranger Things 11 Funko soda, it is for sale. And I know that we were talking about LeBron James, Dustin's favorite basketball player.
James.
And they have the new Funko Gold figures also on sale. And guys, we're not just telling you about Funko or Popping Off Toys because they're the sponsor. We have a promo code for you. So if you use the code Nashville Flippers, you'll receive 10% off your entire order. So you spend $100, guys, you get 10% off. That's a pretty good deal, right, Dustin?
That's a great deal.
It's a great deal. So get that Christmas shopping done. Go to poppinofftoys.com and use the code Nashville Flippers. So, my friend Ray, you ready for overrated, underrated?
Sure. Really quickly though,
Go for it.
if you're in the Atlanta area, December 11th, at the Cobb Galleria in Smyrna, Georgia, is going to be Vintage Connectcon. It's one of the biggest vintage events. It's where there's going to be over 100 vintage vendors. So if you really want to get a first-hand experience for vintage, I would say if you're in the Atlanta area, for sure check out Vintage Connectcon. And also if you're in the Chattanooga area and you need some fresh picks, hit up Quick Strike. They're on Brainerd Road. Tell them that 50 Shades.Of.Ray sent you, and they'll give you 10% off, possibly. I have to talk.
He said possibly.
Yeah,
Possibly.
but yeah, I think 10% off.
Yeah. So that's a vintage store?
Quick Strike. Yeah. They're vintage shoes, like Jordans, the off-white stuff. The I'm not really a shoe head. I mean,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, but I'm not on the sneakers app trying to catch the drops like people,
Yeah,
I mean?
man.
It's just like vintage for me, sneakers for some people,
Yeah, for sure. I'm trying to think. I think that might be I know we have a store here that sells, hype shoes, and I think they might be connected somehow. It's called Soho, right, Dustin?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think I have heard of them. Are they out towards Memphis though?
No, they're here. They're here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they might be connected somehow. But let's get to overrated, underrated Ray. And remember, what was the date for Vintage Collecticon? Connecticon?
So the date for that is December the 11th.
Okay. And then it's
coming up quickly. So
yeah,
and
that's right around the corner.
number 12 with again Ben Vintage 86 on Instagram and Into the Past 122, and they're out of Georgia. And Ben Vintage is my business partner with the vintage archaeologist, and he's like the traveling aspect of it.
Okay.
Him and his family are in a camper trailer, and they're just like traveling America pretty much.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, man.
That's awesome. All right, man. So overrated, underrated, dude. First one up. Dustin, you want to take the odds, my friend?
I'll take the odds.
All right.
Overrated, underrated, TikTok.
Mm-hmm. I really think it's underrated. And the reason being is because this is a free app that allows you to, like, your reach is crazy worldwide even. And it allows you, it's like the most insane free marketing app you could ever get in your life.
Yeah, I agree.
It's like if you are a brand or a business or a company and you're not TikTok, you're really missing an opportunity here. Because you could get your brand out there like that and not even be trying. You know what I mean? It'd just be one video that you post that catches somebody's attention and they just share it. And next thing you know, it's the dream.
You're viral, baby.
Yeah.
You're viral. Yes, sir. We have the flipping sports guy is on here. Good to see you, brother. Glad you can make it on. So next one up, overrated, underrated Ray. Goodwill bins, my friend.
I think it's overrated.
Overrated, he says. Tell us why. That's a hot take.
Okay, so the reason is because I think everybody thinks everybody can do it, and that's not the case.
Okay.
If you think you can, then I challenge you to meet me there tomorrow morning, and we will pick for 8 hours, 9 hours, whatever the day is that it's open. And let's see you do it multiple days in a row. You know what I mean? That's how some people do it. Some people, I guess it's 50-50 on that. Because I mean, I go to the bins, so it's hard for me to even knock somewhere where I source at. But that's not my main sourcing spot. I like the in-person interaction.
Okay. But you're saying that, the reason why you say it's overrated is because people think that you can just go to the Goodwill bins and come out with a vintage 1993 X-Men t-shirt.
Yes. People think that it's every day you're hitting every day you're picking $100 t-shirt, and that's not it. You know, pick all day for a week, every single day, and still not find that grail piece. Have the magic touch. Some people every like a month, it's just bam, 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 bam. But then they'll be honest if they were honest with you, that there's times where they don't hit for 2 weeks and they're just like, taking what they could get so they could get money's worth because I mean, at the end of the day, your time is money. So you want to make your money's worth out of your time invested there. So.
For sure. And I don't know. I've heard something. This might be a little controversial, Ray, and I know that you're no stranger to controversy. But I've heard that people, they be faking the funk, man, and they be taking in some grail pieces, inside the bins, taking pictures and saying they found them in the bins. Could you shed some light on? Is that a real thing?
It is. I call it staging, so I don't know what it's.
Okay.
other people call it. But if you did, I mean, even if it came from the bins from somebody else, for me, if I were gonna buy something from somebody, throw it on the floor, take a picture of it, throw it in a bin, take a picture of it, make it look like I found it. That's kind of fake. But why wouldn't you want to shout somebody out and give them where credit's due? Kind of thing, like they're the ones that pulled that thing. Why would I want to be like, yeah, shout out such and such for the toss? You know what I mean? Or for hooking me up with a great piece for a great price or whatever. A lot of people don't give credit where credit's due.
Okay. So why would you think people would do that? Just for the clout, for the gram?
The clout, for the gram, yeah. They want to look a certain way, and like, maybe they're having a rough go a couple weeks where it's dry and they're not finding pieces, so they want to like, oh well, I found this. I mean, if anybody who's watches my story, I show the most raw side of reselling. The ups, the downs, the goods, the bads, the crying my eyes out, the screaming at you. I mean, it could seriously be a TV show if it was scripted properly, I guess. But
I love it, man. I love it.
So-
All right, so let's move on here. Number 3, overrated, underrated.
Hold on.
What you got for me, Dustin? I think
Messing
Dustin
with
might have froze. Oh, go ahead, Dustin. Sorry.
Messing with the settings real quick. Overrated,
Okay.
underrated cranberry sauce.
Excuse me. Underrated.
Bless you.
I think people don't try it. They're like, "Ooh, what is that?" Because it comes in a can, like a
Yeah,
soft glob of jelly.
of gelatin.
What is that even? But pretty good.
Nice.
Personally, I like spreading it on toast. Woo!
Bless you. Toast. Okay, I can see that. What about you, Dustin? What do you think about cranberry sauce?
Not a fan.
Not a fan. Hey,
Never really
my
liked it.
wife makes the best cranberry sauce. She actually makes it from scratch. So come Thursday, Dustin, we're gonna have some cranberries, my friend. Some
Oh, yeah.
cranberry sauce. So we have a Carter P is on here. He says, "Hey there, good to see you, Carter P."
Hey there.
And Sparks, he's saying, "What Discord server are you guys in? And I want some deals too." I'm not too sure what you're referring to there, Sparks. Give us some more information because we don't have a Discord server. Someone sounds allergic to cranberry sauce. What do you think about that, Ray?
Yeah, I mean,
That's
it's really the pollen this time of year. All the leaves falling off and everything.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Messes with my allergies really bad.
There you go. All right, my friend. So overrated, underrated, and I don't know much about this. I don't know if you can shed light on this, but Big E Levi's denim.
Well, first of all, I know they sell for like certain ones sell for big money. Like I can't quote for sure what the last ones went for that came out of a gold mine, but they were, I'm sure, over 100,000.
Now, for the people that may not know, the Levi's brand, the really old Levi's, and the E
Yeah,
is capitalized instead of lowercase.
and I want to say that's like 70s and before.
Yeah.
Um,
So that's some of the stuff that people like to find for sure. But
I mean,
did you say? Did you rate it?
1960s pair.
I would-
1960.
110.
Oof.
that's a tough, to be
That's
honest,
crazy.
because I mean, I understand and respect. I'm gonna say underrated because I personally respect the prices that they're going for. It's a history at the end of the day. It's not just vintage. It's like, say for instance that pair that they found in the gold mine. That's like somebody left those there and was gonna come back to the work the next day and put those on again. They were just
Yeah.
left,
Hmm.
and who knows how long they would have been sitting in there had the person not gone and explored the mine and found them.
Hmm.
So it kind of gives us a peek into history, kind of like that Grateful Dead shirt that's all torn and tattered. When I hold that, it gives me a kind of a vision into the past, a visual of a time that I wasn't there, but I could see through the clothing and the way that the person wore it and loved that piece of clothing. So I do think it's underrated, and I think the price of it's only going to go up
Mm.
because the more rare something is, you know.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know Rachel Strickland, she was just saying that word of caution, there are new lines of Big E Levi's coming out. So
Uh-oh.
I think that's like a reoccurring like I don't know, I wouldn't say like thing, but you know
It's
how something
trend.
organically is cool and then like companies try to take advantage of. I know that you like we were talking earlier, Ray, about the example of the look made to look vintage tee. So we'll get into that.
Hmm.
Bring it out. Let's go ahead and bring it out because I
it's-
think this is kind of goes with the same thing here.
yeah, okay. So this is made to look like a Marvel what's called a mega print, and they, for the most part, did a pretty good job. And though it's a fake, personally, I like it because I like Ghost Rider. I read the
Uh-huh.
comics growing up as a kid, but because they put the licensing down here, 1992 Marvel Comics, you know what I mean? This on a single stitch, it's licensed and dated to make it look like an authentic from 1992 piece. And if it was original, this would be like a $3,000 shirt.
Whew.
But it's not. It's a boo boo, and it did have what's called a Wild Oats tag, which is a vintage tag, but they faked those now too. Um,
So how did you tell? How do you know that it's not? Because you're saying that that shirt's single stitched. You
oh
know
yeah,
all the signs that I'm looking at.
all the telltale signs of a true vintage shirt, and if like people just getting into this, if they were to come across
Yeah.
not know, and the only reason that I know is because it was on Dr. Fugazi, who's somebody in the vintage community that like puts us onto what's being faked, what's coming in from like Thailand and the Philippines and China, because obviously with anything that's $3,000, you know what I
There's
mean?
gonna be fakes of.
Oh yeah, which
Gosh.
there's probably fakes of this shirt, but this is a $300 shirt versus a $3,000 if it was real, true mega print, but it's not. But
And
you
you
all
and you said the guy that you can get that information from is Dr. Fugazi.
Dr. Fugazi on Instagram.
Okay. That's a great tip right there. Gosh, I can't believe that they're making such good fakes.
Hmm.
That's crazy.
And this is called a bootleg, though. There's a difference between a fake and a bootleg. A bootleg is somebody's rendition, their idea, like that classic bootleg that we all know because of Slobby Robbie is that Gucci, this
Yeah.
classic Gucci G right here, and it's got the little
Hmm.
square on. But this is a bootleg from Backstop Co., also on Instagram. But the thing here is he did not date it like 96 or whenever Chucky came out, you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
He put the nice little blockbuster hit, but
Oh, that's so cool.
that's nostalgic, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he didn't put any kind of like made by Fox,
Hmm.
Century Fox. There's nothing like that. So, the movie can't come after him. This is just his like in his mind and art. So this shirt was never produced by, it was never official merch. Whereas they're making this to look like it was official merch, like because there is
Y-
Ghost Rider
Gotcha.
prints out there. They just, it's illegal. Really, it's illegal to put the date like that. So that's the difference between a fake and just somebody's passion for. This is like somebody's passion for vintage too. Just they put it on a T-shirt, and there's this version. This another movie, same artist.
That's a sweet shirt.
I like his style, so that's why. And I know him personally from Colorado, so again, that's why I try to support people I know, and people who support me. And I have a couple stuff, but anyway.
Man, those are some great examples for sure. I didn't, like you said. I mean, it would make sense that like a shirt that's worth $3,000. Of course, they're going to make fakes of.
Sure, yeah.
Gosh, that's crazy. All right, so let's move on. Number 5, overrated, underrated.
Overrated, underrated. Black Friday. I'll answer that. Overrated. That's what I think about it.
I definitely think it's overrated. And the reason is because it brings out the absolute evil in people, and this is supposed to be like a time of year where you're trying gifts to your loved ones, whatever. But people stack up outside of these box stores, waiting to just pounce on the pallet, and the pure greed when you're trying to grab 6 and 7 and stuff like that. But it's hard to say that as a reseller, you know what I mean? Because we like to do the same thing. Like if we find, like you find those deals at Walmart, capitalism, baby.
Yeah.
But I think Black Friday is, man, to be camping outside of a store. I think there's better ways for stores to handle that type of a thing. You know what I mean?
It's gotten better. It's gotten better for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They put out the deals so early now.
Yeah.
They started putting them out at the beginning of the month.
And I think
the day after October or Halloween.
And I think especially after they're starting to more incentivize the online, whatever it is.
I agree.
Because the Black Friday deals, you have to admit, they're not so good anymore.
They're not. They're really not.
Like
they're terrible.
The Cyber Monday, excellent.
I think those are way better.
But the person stuff just not happening.
I agree. All right, so let's move on. Overrated, underrated. Ray, selling vintage hats.
Underrated, way underrated.
Okay.
And let me just show you some prime examples of what.
Oh, he's got a whole box. He's ready to rock and roll.
Yes. So this is actually
guys. If you're listening, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
This is actually how I store my hats. This is a shoe box that you can get from USPS.com for free. USPS, please don't sue me for using my box like this. But I cut along these red lines, and then there we go. We got a little hole right here, so you can like kind of and you can put your hat.
Look at that.
Ta-da. And you can store your hats. It stores about 6 or 7 hats pretty easily. But vintage hat made in USA, Denver, Colorado. Look how bad that is. I mean,
that's so nice.
Oh my gosh!
The colors
is that a leather strap on the back?
Yeah, leather
like
strap back. I do kind of like the strap and zip back. This is an example of a zip back. This is called a cord. Oh, this is not the zip back. But AstroTurf, just random. The color is, I like it because of the color and because it's a cord. Like snap, no branded snap, but even vintage snaps from hats sell. Like
interesting.
So I'm putting you guys on game.
Put me on, baby.
If it's a vintage hat and it's just garbage, like a local dealership or just like inside, a lot of times it has that fuzz, that
Yeah.
Yeah.
dandruff like a mofo, just falling everywhere. You can like unseam it, get a seamer, and take the seams out.
Huh.
Save the snap if it's not brittle and snappy, and you could sell those, especially on youngins, Nissan or Nissan or I don't know.
What does a vintage snapback snap go for?
So if it really depends. So if you have like a youngin, a lot of your sports hats, if you have like like say this snap right here, made in USA,
Uh-huh.
and it's that royal blue colorway that would go on like a Dallas Cowboys or like I'm not really too big into, but whoever's team, UConn,
Yeah.
that royal blue colored Titans. You can go on a old snapback, like this green. Somebody's trying to like, if somebody's snap has gotten too brittle and it's broken, like a lot of times these little knobby things here snap off when you pull it because it's just dry rot or age, whatever you want to call it. It's just brittle. But definitely underrated because old hats are cool, man. Like,
Yeah, they are cool.
these are corduroys. This is the felt local Signal Mountain
Oh.
Leopold.
Oh man.
So the corduroy material, like some corduroy pants.
Dang.
What does something like that sell for? The one that you just had, the corduroy blue.
I'd probably price this at like 55 because it's old Schmitz beer. You know what I mean? So it's a vintage beer advertisement hat. I believe it's made in USA. An old Spartan. Not a lot of wear, not a lot of fade. I've tried to take care of my hats. As you see, I keep them in a box.
Yeah, that's helpful.
This one's pretty cool.
Oh,
That Nestle Crunch. It's a classic,
blue corduroy too.
Dang.
Chasing down the freaking ice cream truck. Yep, try to give me a crunch bar, baby.
And what do you think? What would you price that one at?
This will probably be like $65, $70 hat,
And what did you buy that one for?
I actually paid up on this one from
Okay.
a friend. Mike is Chiz on Instagram. I think I paid like 35 for that.
Okay. What about the beer one, the Schmitz beer?
That was $2 at a thrift store. Like another like probably $2 hat. Buck, Just
Those cord hats, man, those are so cool.
oh yeah, this hat too. The inside of it is like really hard, almost like that crafty mesh plastic.
Uh-huh.
So it's almost like a crush proof hat, you know what I mean?
Ah, okay.
So it's really hard. I don't know. I like the flat bill, the square, kind of the square head, if you will. I love that look.
There you go.
That old
There
sport,
you go.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, there you go.
The old derby cap. There's too many
Gosh.
hats to even like mention.
Yeah. I gotcha. We got Mess Hall Diggs in the building. He says, "What's up, fam? Good to see you, Mess Hall." So let's move on, man. That's some good. What were some of the websites again that you can sell the snapbacks or the snaps on the snapbacks? You said Derby.
Oh no, not website. No. Which is YOUNGAN.
So they're not webs. What are they? Just like stores?
Just a brand of hat.
Oh,
Okay,
gotcha.
I gotcha.
Brand of the snap.
Of the snaps, gotcha.
Made in USA snaps. Nissan NISSIN. Yeah, you can sell snaps. And then,
Interesting.
like, if you have 2 or 3 of the same color, they're
Put them
probably like
together.
$15 plus shipping.
Okay. Nice.
Okay.
All right, so let's move on. Overrated, underrated, number 7, Dustin.
Yeti coolers.
Overrated as hell.
I
I mean,
Agreed.
let's just, are we trying to shoot a redneck music video, or like what's going on?
We can.
Everybody has one. Especially
It's like I think it's more like a status symbol at this point, you know?
I think so. I mean,
It's like the Ralph Lauren of coolers.
350.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
$300 for a cooler, man.
Yeah, I'll stick with my Coleman.
There you go. Nice. Vintage Coleman, probably. What are the vintage one? The Playmates?
Uh,
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
He's like,
Oh,
I got one somewhere.
yeah, the old lunch boxes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet you got some of those laying around somewhere. All right, let's move on. Overrated, underrated. Ray selling racing t-shirts or racing t-shirts.
Like NASCAR.
Sure.
Or horse racing.
I think it's gotten to the point where it's overrated. Like it was,
Okay.
like I would say saturated.
Set.
The market got heavily saturated because the height of COVID happened, and like, there was a vintage scene on Instagram, but it wasn't as big as like what COVID made happen. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Like COVID happened, and then just like I think everybody was in their house watching Netflix. Everybody was running out of shit to watch or stuff to watch. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Everybody's running out of stuff to watch, and then they stumbled across that Slobby Robbie stuff, and then they started searching vintage, just like I did, But
Yeah.
it was a little before COVID happened that I got into it, like a year or so before, and yeah, it's gotten so saturated because first the Dale Earnhardt all over prints, you know what I mean, and AOP, that stands for all over print, which is this style, just
Okay.
the entirety of the shirt. I mean, versus just it, or sometimes you have the little pocket tees, a little pocket graphic, But yeah.
All right. So let's move on. Overrated, underrated. Number 9, Dustin.
The X-Files.
I don't know. I feel like the X-Files is really good. I'm not gonna lie. So
I like the X-Files too. Did you watch the X-Files when you were a kid?
a little before its time, I think. I think
Mm.
the X-Files would be pretty good right now. But I wasn't allowed to actually. It was too like bizarre. I was young. I mean, what was it, like 95, 96,
Yeah.
97-ish when it was really, but I have it on VHS. I have a rather extensive VHS collection. There's
Nice.
something you cannot beat about the nostalgicness of watching VHS. The crappy video quality of a VHS is just so nostalgic.
Yeah, I hear you, man. Dude, my dad and I, we used to wait every Sunday when the new X-Files
Oh,
show would come on, and we would be there right in front of that big old wooden TV. Like, you know how like TVs used to be like surrounded in wood? Yeah, exactly.
and then you
So-
That's funny.
little knob to try to get the popcorn.
Exactly, man.
Like,
So let's move on. Last one here, Ray. Overrated, underrated. Flea markets.
underrated.
Okay.
Flea markets are so underrated. But it's like the cat's out of the bag.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
flea markets are your best place to come up, because a lot of times what I find is that the people get the stuff and they don't care about it. It was like either inherited or they bought a storage unit, so they're just trying to like get rid of it for a quick buck. They don't care, the stuff that they thought was worth money, they've gone ahead and got the money for. And again, it's capitalism, so a lot of times it's best not to be like, hey man, you know that this is worth like $350, right? Just, I think that would add insult to the guy. So maybe if you know that it's worth that and they ask for $3, give them 10, and it's still kind of, it's just like, again, capitalism.
Yeah,
I'm a capitalist.
that's funny for sure. But that concludes it, Ray. That concludes the overrated, underrated of segment of the show. Thank you so much for answering those questions. And guys, make sure again to subscribe to the YouTube channel, subscribe to the podcast if you're listening to this, and make sure you follow Ray on all of his social media platforms. They're linked down in the description below. And guys, Dustin and I actually have a pretty good announcement. We just dropped some new merch. So if you guys want to go check that out, there is a link in the bio of this video, and that takes us straight to our merch page. I am actually wearing one of those hoodies right now. It's a collegiate lettered hoodie that says "Flip" with 2 P's because it's part of our brand. We have the t-shirts, the hoodies available in multiple colors, not just Titans blue, but if you want a Kelly green, a baby
Ooh, I like
blue,
that Kelly green. Ooh, baby
Kelly
blue
green,
Cardinals.
baby. Look at that. Or a maroon that is available also. And then we also made Dustin's signature trademark saying "Risk it for the biscuit" t-shirts are now available also. That's what the front of the t-shirt looks like. And the back of the shirt, it says "Risk it for the biscuit."
And went up to the big boy size.
Big 3X, baby. Look at there. All the way up to 3X. And we have multiple shirts in different colors. And we have some of our past merch also. If you want a sticker, if you want a mug, a tote bag, we got it all on here, baby. There's the shirt that I'm currently wearing.
I need to order some stuff soon.
Yeah, man, for sure. Definitely gonna have to get a "Risk It for the Biscuit" shirt. And we also have the Kanye inspired. This actually has been selling pretty well. The Kanye inspired "I Feel Like Pablo." It says "I Feel Like Reselling," and then on the back it says "Catch You on the Flip Side, Nashville" on the back. So if you guys want to purchase any merch, go down in the description below, and it'll send you straight to our merch page. What'd you say, D?
So get that merch, and pretty soon we're gonna get some Funko Pops made with our.
Oh, that would be dope.
Yep,
that would be dope.
Nice.
Yeah. So Ray, real quick before we let you go, dude, because we're right at an hour. So we already talked about how to tell if something's vintage, which was one of the questions that I had on here. But what has been your biggest flip and your biggest bust?
All right, so biggest flip was, again, one of the off the back. It's actually like a challenge in the vintage community called Off the Back Challenge.
Okay.
It's basically a challenge to see who can get the best off the back find or like purchase, whatever. For me, I was on my way to a race and I noticed a guy wearing a band shirt because of I don't know if this, I'm assuming it's a family show, so I'm going to not mention the name of the band. It was a punk rock band.
I know the name of the band. It's Circle Jerk.
Yeah. Okay.
I saw your video.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the name of the band.
I didn't want to be the one to say it.
No, go for it, bro. Yeah.
But so it was a Circle Jerk shirt, and he didn't want to sell it at first, but I was like, I have business cards, and again, if you're a reseller or you like trying to get you any kind of brand out there, that is one of the first most important things to have is a business card. It puts your name and just the memory of you in the person's hand right there. And they always have, like, they may throw it on the ground, but at least you tried. Most people though, I give two cards and be like, here, I know you're gonna drop one, so here's two. Well, now they have two.
That's smart.
They look at
Yeah.
you like it, they're gonna be like, yo, here, and give it to their friend, the other one. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like free advertising.
Yeah.
There you go.
But my bad. Remind me again of the question.
So your biggest flip.
Okay, yeah.
So you look in, you saw the guy, he had the circle jerk shirt on.
Right. So he ended up calling me back because of the card. That's where I got. Okay. So I go out to meet him, and he's just bringing out these shirts, and I'm like trying to have a poker face. It's really hard because I know that one of these shirts that I'm looking at, I've never seen, and I'd been at this at that point at like a year and over a year and 6 months.
Yeah.
But like, man, I've never seen this shirt on any of the lives. I've been watching these big, bigger lives with like the 100,000, 30,000 followers, and I've never seen it. So I secure the deal, and let's just support shirts all together. Well, this one wrestling shirt was the Nasty Boys all over print, just crazy shirt. And as soon as I posted a picture, the DMs started flying. People I'd never even talked to, never even heard. I'm like, all right, so this has got to be good. And I'm asking people, and they're like, I don't know, I've never even seen it. What in the world? This is the most crazy wrestling shirt I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
So they're asking people, and the people that they're asking who have been at this for like 6-7 years, they're like, I've never seen it. What is? Oh my goodness! Is this like somebody? Is this? So finally, the word got back, and they put me in contact with a person who's live. I would run it on. That would, if I would have run it myself, I would have sold it for like $300. But they're like, no. You need to start this at such and such a price. Started at like $500, and it just boom. The bids start rushing in. So altogether, my little 45 or 46, I had like $46 or $47 investment turned into $1,680. So that was my biggest.
Wow.
That's amazing. So you sold that Nasty Boy t-shirt on like a live stream, like auction?
Yeah, on Instagram, and mainly that's how I've been doing this.
Okay.
And
what did you end up getting for that Nasty Boy t-shirt?
So I bundled like 5 other shirts with it.
Okay.
So I consider it to be 1,000.
Wow.
What size was it?
60, extra large. Perfect.
What sizes sell better? Like if I were to be out looking at the bins, like what sizes sell? Like if I were to pick anything up.
If I were to be honest with you, if you're going to be an Instagram reseller, don't even bother with small, medium, and sometimes not even larges. Because
really,
everybody wants extra large, even if it's a 5'2", 80-pound person, they want an extra large. I don't know what the deal is. I guess easier to resell. The average size, I guess now is extra large. I mean, I'm wearing an extra large now. So, I mean,
that's funny. I guess maybe like kids are starting to wear boxier shirts, or maybe that's like the trend. Bigger, baggy.
Mm-hmm.
It's like back to the 90s. People are wearing baggy pants again and baggy shirts. No, Rachel's got a good. Do vintage sizes run small? Have you noticed that?
So yes, and a lot of times that's why the people want the extra large when it's vintage, because the sizes run small. So if you've got like, a medium nowadays, sometimes fits like a vintage shirt.
Okay.
The 100% cottons, if they were washed improperly, they would shrink so bad.
Okay, that's good to know for sure, especially if for like with me, I'm a big professional wrestling fan. I get on these kicks. I literally look on eBay every day to look for a 2X vintage wrestling shirts that I do not have, and at a good price, of course. And it's very rare that I can find a 2X vintage wrestling shirt that's not like a remake or something like that,
So that Nasty Boys all over print it fit like a 2X because the person who bought it from me was 2X and they wore it. So
Interesting.
I don't know if it was like a tight fit for him.
Yeah.
Like just because I mean he was transparent with me and told me that he sold it for $2,600. So
Wow.
again, rare. So and that
He must have had the buyer before.
oh well, I don't know why the person wouldn't have outbid him and given me the money, but from what I understand, it was the person who was bidding against him in the live auction.
Interesting. Okay.
I don't know what to do.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Or maybe
So-
maybe he had like regret of not.
That's probably what it was.
And I yeah, that happens because again, he's the one who told my person he had never seen him. And he's like, wait, he's gonna be on a live on the spot.
Yeah. So Ray, what has been your biggest bust?
Truly. I mean, it was a smaller purchase and smaller come, I guess, but it was just a hassle altogether in the long run, and I ended up with it, and like just again losing money on it was like this bread maker, like a Oster or a KitchenAid bread maker. Ugh, I would never buy. I stay away from kitchen related anything anymore.
Uh-huh.
Because I mean, I don't just sell. I sell like toys and games, movies,
Yeah.
like just anything old, really, and even stuff antique. Because I mean,
Okay.
vintage. You say vintage a lot of times at yard sales, for instance. Hey, do you have any vintage clothing? Well, no, we don't got anything from the 40s and 50s. Like, no, not that vintage. You know,
Yeah, it's like that's antique, baby.
that's antique, but to them, that's vintage. Like when they think,
Yeah.
because you got to think they're 60, 70. So vintage to them is, when we're 50, 60, we're going to be thinking vintage. We won't even, like, that'll be like way antique by then.
That's funny.
That's,
All right. Yeah, was it a vintage bread maker?
no, not a vintage bread maker. It was like a, going to be on an eBay thing, but God, it was just a hassle because it ended up being like $60 something to ship it because it weighed.
Oh.
And like I was like, wait a minute, I won't even make any money for what I sold it for. There's no way I'm doing that. And then I canceled, and then the person was like, oh man,
Yeah, that sounds like a disaster for sure.
lost my privilege to sell on eBay because of that. So
Because of the bread maker?
yeah.
Dang, yeah, that sounds like a big bust right there, man. That might be the biggest bust off of anybody that I've had, to lose, getting kicked off of there because of an item.
I lost my cool on the customer, and I was like, I used some expletives, and then they reported me. I guess eBay wasn't playing that day, and they just decided, yeah, you're going to be made an example of, and just doink. Now I can't list.
Oh man. Hey, you live and you learn for sure, man. For
Oh.
sure.
Mercari.
So go ahead, Ray. I'm sorry.
And Mercari it is.
Oh, there you go. So Ray, I really appreciate you jumping on, and I
Yeah.
appreciate everyone that stayed with us in the chat for sure. So I got one last question for you, Ray, and again, make sure to follow Ray on all of his social media platforms that are listed down in the description below. 50 Shades of Ray on Instagram and on TikTok. Make sure to follow him and his on his new business venture, the Vintage Archaeologist, on Instagram. So that's linked down there as well. But Ray, you've been doing this for a year and some change. So, what are some goals that 50 Shades of Ray has for this coming year, brother?
It's almost here.
It's almost here.
My main goal is to LLC the TVA company.
Okay.
Really start getting serious about, like, I know we were chatting before and doing the tests and everything. If you're gonna get into reselling, I highly advise you to get into this. You know, you're giving up a job, a 9 to 5 job. You get into this, you need to treat this like a job. You need to have a schedule. You know, source this, and this day, or like source. What I like to do is source 2 days, list 5 days.
Oh wow. Okay.
So my weekend, you know, I can hang out with people, but I can still, like, you know, take a girl to the flea market. I can pick.
Ah.
You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
Or, you know, or I can go to the bins for a couple of hours and make do. Once you do this for a couple years, you kind of get a hang for it. But again, you treat it like a job, because if you don't, you're not. I mean, you know, you have money and everything. So a goal for me is to, like, start like an actual business, a job, build some credit, some value type of thing, and, like, really build a life with this, because I don't want to go back to a 9 to 5. I don't like working for people. For me, it's like I don't want to work for somebody who I feel isn't smarter than I am. Like, why would I? You know? But I don't know. That would be my goal here.
That's good, man.
The LLC, and, like, actually, let's just say make 80 grand. You know, that'd be a good starting point.
Okay.
Like this year, all told, I probably made just under 50. You know, between Cash App and the other PayPal and Venmo, live in person cash and everything like that, just under 50.
Okay. So 70. Let's shoot for 80, man. I think you can do it.
Sky's the limit.
Oh,
You know, let's do it.
Oh yeah.
I can see this really taking off, Ray, and especially, you know, you sharing your knowledge and, you know, people, you know, getting in contact with you and finding different ways to make an income, you know, not just reselling. You could do it, dude, for sure.
That's what I say. Like, with community, that's what community is. We teaching one another. Like, if I know something, why would I not want to teach my friend how to, you know? And it's not to say that reselling is for everybody, because it's not. Like, not everybody could do this. Not everybody has the mind to do it. You know, 'cause it's customer service, customer support. You know what I mean?
Got that right.
Especially if you're the only one doing it, you're like all of that.
You're everything, man. You're the
I
CEO, the shipper, the marketer. You're everything, man.
I have a saying that I made about reselling. Oh, you want to get into reselling? Well, you're going to trade that 9 to 5 for a 24/7, 365. And that's no cap.
Hey, I like that. Hey, that's a shirt right there.
Shoot,
I like that for sure.
I might just have to make that into a shirt.
Yeah, man, that's a great idea. Make that into one of those bootleg shirts you got. You know,
put on the front, put trade that 9 to 5 for a 24/7, 365. Hashtag reseller.
I love that. Hey, you make it, I'll be the first one to buy it, bro, for sure.
Yeah,
So
might have to help me. Again, I'm trying to find people because I want to make merch for TVA.
Yeah.
And that could actually be a TVA shirt.
Yeah, man. There you go. Well, Ray, I appreciate you jumping on, man, and everyone that's in the chat. Appreciate everyone jumping on for sure. Rachel Strickland says, "Shoot for the stars, baby." I love it.
Shoot for 'em.
Let's
Shoot
go.
for 'em.
Be a
Shoot for them.
TV show in the next 5 years. Who knows?
I
Let's
like
do
it.
Yeah.
You know what they say. You miss the shots you never take, or is that the saying, Dustin?
You miss
You shoot
100%.
100%.
You miss 100% of the shots that you don't take.
Yep.
That's right. So
I got a lot
there
of
you
praise.
go. There you go. So Ray, again, thank you so much for coming on. I really do appreciate it. Thank you everyone for also jumping on. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, the Nashville Flippers. Follow us on all of our social media platforms, the Nashville Flippers on TikTok, Instagram, and if you ever have any questions, shoot us an email, the NashvilleFlippers@gmail.com, and subscribe to the podcast. Leave a 5-star review so it brings us up in the podcast algorithm. And guys, make sure you follow my man Ray, 50 Shades of Ray on TikTok and Instagram, and follow his new page, The Vintage Archaeologist, the vintage.archaeologist on Instagram. And Ray, you got anything else for the people, my friend?
Not if you're in the Atlanta area, December 11th. Again, come check us out. There's over 100 vendors. There's actually going to be a live auction on Instagram taking place on the stage.
Yikes. Oh my gosh.
There'll be DJs. Every time that I've gone, Little Yachty has shown up. So there's definitely celebrity presence. It's just an awesome time altogether, you know. And again, if you're trying to get an experience firsthand of what vintage is, want to learn firsthand, definitely come by booth number 12. I can show you stuff.
Okay.
And yeah, Smyrna, Georgia, Cobb Galleria.
Let's go. All
There
right.
you go.
What about you, Dustin? You got anything to say for the people?
I think we got it. Everyone,
got it.
don't overeat on Thanksgiving.
Don't.
Been
Hey,
there,
there
done
you
that.
go.
Do not
Don't overeat on Thanksgiving.
Yep.
Don't go Black Friday crazy.
Oh
You
yeah,
got to get ready. Got to get ready for Friday and
well, ladies over.
Yeah. Make sure you spend time with your family.
got to get that merch to resell for the holidays on Friday.
There you go.
Don't overeat.
Yeah. So if you want one of these nice hoodies, check it out on the merch store down in the description below. So guys, thank you so much. My name is Ray.
My name's Dustin.
Right.
Yeah, double Ray
Double Ray.
square today, guys. So we'll catch you guys on the flip side. See y'all. Peace.